компьютер плохо. Это минус 10. You don't need scan this drive.
Fruit salad, spitting a peaceful peace.
Что происходит? Ой, давай потушимся.
I don't know if I can still find trim to go on those, but if I can, then I can just replace the cartridges. New tub spout, keep the toilet cheap as possible. Gee whiz. It's a masterclass in how to not trim your windows.
Так, ну-ка помолчи. Где они это делают? 9:30 вечера. Блядь, воняет горелым. подвале, может?
It's like half a tube in this one
Демос по городам. Но,
spot.
возможно, через пару лет где-то в мире кто-то впервые рассмеется или сделает первый шаг. Не знаю, что однажды ранним утром в аэропорту Шереметьево один человек очень бережно нес в руках чей-то шанс на жизнь.
Console needs to get replaced.
Задние
I don't
дворы,
know if that's the homeowner
канатских домов.
responsibility or what. All broken.
Could have done this slightly more elegantly,
Could have taken the bus.
but I also don't really care.
Yeah, did they fix this? Oh no, they didn't. My mom told me a car drove through here. And broke the shit. I don't know how you drive from here and hit there. But that's what I've been told.
Так, не починили.
Here we go.
Can we stop?
We're not even on to the parts that are like new that I was expecting to
Wait,
have
I
to
guess
do.
if you want a Chevy or a GMC or a Buick.
Заборов у них нет.
And if you want to go steal a bus, next door to this place, because that's a bus depot. I do not recommend, but, you know, if you're feeling like it.
Очень даже есть. Причем так себе заборы, как будто бы.
There we go. I'm trying to make the streamer dance without paying the
I think I walk way too fast. I think Google, when I mapped
fee. Is
this
that
out,
what it is?
said it will take me an hour and 40 minutes. And we're not even, we're almost at an hour, but I'm almost at the Tim Hortons.
Right? I know what's going on.
And it's not that much. We just got to backtrack here to the
Something
police
positive?
station.
Они их-
Remember to get
Они их
more
преднамеренно не
fucking
красят,
shit.
что ли? Ну вот тут у кого-то более-менее. Ну вот и свежий. Ну как бы она же через год-два станет такая же серая.
I don't remember talking about this yesterday. What did we talk about?
Why is it so hot? What's the weather?
Okay, what's the
Minus
positive
4.
here?
Doesn't feel like -4. I'm
I'm
sweating.
doing work that is bad for me, bad for my body, bad for my brain.
В общем, заборы-то такие, блин, не маленькие.
I'm making up for other people's lazy
2
work
метра.
and stupid mistakes.
Так просто не перелезешь. общем,
I
сплошные
have no
заборы.
guarantee that any of this will be worth it.
Sir, that's not allowed.
I'm not doing such a good job of it. It hasn't been worth it the last two times. I'm not doing a good job of it.
Так, я хочу найти, что он там с камином сделал.
Costs. That one's.
I know that's really good PPC worker. Yes.
Так, это 5 дней назад. Блин, он не покупает даже этот Twitch Turbo, чтобы дольше хранилось.
Yeah. You guys should go.
Вот здесь он белый еще, потом он стал черный.
Go follow Gabe over
Well,
there.
too bad about that bottom
Now
piece.
in Edinburgh, in Scotland.
Причем тут без полочки, он там потом полочку, потом почему-то, блядь, здесь еще все
More people follow him.
поломал над ним.
Everyone.
Зачем он вообще убирал полочку?
So that he
MDF.
can all the ads.
At 43.
He really doesn't want to stop.
Some of their mess.
Yeah, it's all good. Just watching is good.
Whatever. No one's checking
Either
that.
way. I know the ads are a little bit annoying.
Well, too bad about that bottom piece.
I think I have it. I don't have it at the lowest setting. But I'm not even
It
close
can be
to
there
the
for
highest
now.
setting. I think I put it to
This is the Azor.
4 minutes every hour. And I kind of have it like split on like little short ones. But I think the maximum you could do is 20 minutes or like 22 minutes. So you could really like hammer people with ads.
Your ship is not.
And then I also have my ads.
Что-то он ничего не сказал, что он будет делать, да?
And I know people that have ads and pre-roll. And nothing's turned off.
Why you gotta be like that?
So-
Like,
You get like ads no matter what. Like you come into the stream, there's ads.
why?
Yeah, it's per hour. That's why you see it's at 90 seconds. So I think it does 90 seconds every like whatever 20 minutes.
Интересно, он сам уровень держит.
This guy really doesn't want to stop. Run him over. Yeah.
No, I got two pieces right here. I could totally do that.
Yeah. That's why there's a, I don't know if it's still around.
So, how high should a ledge
I think it
be
used
for
to
a
be like a
fireplace?
Canadian version of
They're at
Saturday Night
43
Live
and
or
a half
Matt
ish.
TV, like they do skits and stuff. Fucking smells. Guys fucking smoking behind me. No offense, Gabe.
How high
The show
should
was
a
called
ledge
This
be
Hour
on a
Has
fireplace?
22 minutes. And basically like making the joke of like how many
54 to
ads you have
60
to
inches
watch.
off the floor? No. For
Смайлики
and a half
какие-то
feet off
стали
the hard
доступны.
floor.
Yeah.
No
I don't know,
way.
like that's what I don't know. I know some people don't run ads.
Do we think this is too
They
low?
just leave the pre-roll, so if you come in, that's all you get. But some people feel like the pre-roll, if somebody new comes in and they get 30 seconds of ads, they just get annoyed. So, I don't know.
We are at
I've been under the impression of getting
44.
rid of them. So
48 is here.
if somebody is lucky enough to come in without ads, so be it.
We can go for 48. Yeah, but like, what are you doing at 54? Also, I'm trying to minimize how much tile to buy.
Test.
And leave you space for TV. That's my excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's either 20 or 22 minutes. Like, I can look on my data.
So there's
Yeah, I
4.5.
can message you, but- Yeah, so that's the options.
What do we think of
There's
this
like a
height?
slider of how many ads you want per hour. And then also, do you want those ads to disable pre-rolls? Some people run a lot of ads but disable pre-rolls. Some people don't run ads and have pre-roll.
That gives me
So
right
it's like
around
all over the
12
place.
inches to the underside of the thing, which makes tiling easy.
I like how this guy's just blocking traffic.
Пока что
Come
720p.
down about half an inch.
And nobody's honking.
Because we're gonna have 4.5 inches
That's why people don't like them, because of shit
to
like
the
that.
bottom. If we 2x4 and skin
You're
it
just doing
with
whatever. And like, look at the
А,
line
здесь же не
behind it.
включается.
MDF,
Супер
we're
резолюшн
looking at
ватами.
12-inch tile. That'll end, come down just another little bit. Yeah. Just backwards.
What are the shit shows they're causing because they want to clean the... What is the point of that?
And this is why, because on this side over here, you'd be like, oh yeah, that totally covers it. But then you come around
What is the
here,
point of this?
and we are half an inch too high still.
Can someone explain it to me? They just pushed it all onto the road.
So we're gonna find our lowest point.
Like, look, he's breaking it down and just pushing it onto the road.
Gotta love how the
What
whole
is the
thing
point
like
of that?
tilts that way.
Like he's having fun.
Can I put this on?
I'm trying to figure out what the point of this is. You're very confused. You can keep pulling out. Do you not see that all the lanes are blocked? See, this is the
All right,
stupidity
that
of
covers
people driving.
everything.
2 lanes are blocked. Pull out.
Do it this way.
Like why?
12 inches.
Why is he pushing
Right
it
there.
onto the road? Explain
So I
it
got
to me.
lots of lines there. Okay.
Okay, hit him.
And then we want 4.5 up from that.
Ой, а схуяли City Life-то?
Alright, let's go get donuts. They're probably gonna be dicking around with this stuff on the way back. But he just puts it all on the road for I don't know what reason. Like there's no
А, ты
reason to
делай.
plow that.
Все нормально.
That's not a
Повседневность.
sidewalk.
So there's our line.
And
Так.
It's very confusing.
And after this, we're probably going to change batteries once we get this line set.
Like, I don't understand why they're doing it, and then there's the trucks up ahead, like, plowing it. Like, do you just want to throw it in the road for it to melt? Like, what are you guys doing? Oh, it smells like shit. There's a dump over here.
Right there. So what did we end up with for final height?
Hey, Tim, we're gonna go get some donuts.
46 and 5/8 plus.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
We're an inch off of 40. I can be okay with that.
Very confusing. I don't know, I guess they think they're helping. It's been like 3 months of this snow
Batteries.
pile, and they're like, hey, it's starting to melt. You know what we should do? Let's throw it in the middle of the road. Look at the traffic up ahead. You guys see the traffic? Because they blocked. It went from 3 lanes to
Так,
1
давай
lane.
проверим USB-шки.
This part,
Почему у меня клауд не работает?
You gotta love the city. Not at all a waste of money. Not at all a waste of money. Yeah, I guess I gotta use up the budget.
Okay. Well, the hard part
есть.
of this one,
It just like seems like beyond
we got that
stupid.
line marked.
Так, мышка работает.
Like everybody lived with the piles there.
То есть USB рабочий.
Moving
The hard
forward,
part
and
with
then
this
shit on the
one
other side.
Is
Like everything got clean. The
We need
sidewalks
to
are as
glue
clean
it
as we're gonna get.
and
The bus
rip
stops
it.
are clean. Like, what are you doing?
Try to do this. $72 and an eighth inside. And then on the left,
Так. Немножко бардачела.
Money and time. Look how many trucks they have.
we have 1 7/8. And on the right, we were very close. 1 13. So if we rip it to 1 7/8,
What are you honking? There's a bus stop. Oh,
then it'll be close
see,
enough
they
to
made
call.
it better. This is so
Alright.
much better. Fucking idiots.
So 72 and 1/8. Let's put these down.
Okay. I don't know.
We'll go 36 for 1. We're gonna cut this at like 37. No, 36 and 2.5. We're gonna cut it at 39. Get it glued, get it ripped. And then fuss the angles after. So we're like super definitely mega ultra too large on that. You know what? That is not bad.
It's called powder fill now.
This might turn out okay.
That was strawberry fill. I keep changing the name. Two blades. I love that one. Can I get half a dozen donuts?
On the wall?
That's it. Can I get 3 Boston cream and 3, I think it's strawberry fill? Yeah, the powder
That
fill
is
one.
actually pretty okay. What do you mean on the wall? You mean the fireplace?
I like tiny crullers, but they feel like such a rip-off. It's like coffee pastry.
We'll leave these out over here.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Так,
I'll put my gloves on.
хомутики, хомутики. Нужны хомутики.
Come on, box.
Блин, вот оно... Вот у этого чувака такие прикольные хомутики. Как они называются?
Huh?
Did you use the gift card? I did use the gift card.
I got no idea.
That's why I wanted
This
to
one
have
tracks
so we
that.
can't really hide them in the cold.
Garbage bags. It doesn't like the sack box. Cyber Highland, sorry. Pricey boy, I got no idea what you're saying.
Что-то
Do I
немножко
have
не
this on
то.
backwards?
Oh, she already missed the bus. The
Yeah,
bus
dude.
stopped in front of her face. She was too busy on the phone.
Wait, did I?
Fruit salad is made possible by eating lots of breathing.
And he's smoking in the car, which is also illegal.
Am I thinking backwards? There's 0.
What a waste. What a waste. Like you have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Why am I
city
stupiding right
trucks,
now?
like the plows, and like look at the traffic. What a waste, they clown.
There we go. One and 7/8.
How you doing, clown? Yeah, this is Mark. I'm stupidly busy.
Looks like that'll work.
I don't know why, but the city is pushing all the snow. The city pushed all the snow.
Oh,
onto the
that's
road
done.
For no
That is
reason.
done. We got that part
They're
done.
just bored.
It worked okay.
Trend, I guess.
You can
know.
see the floor is gonna
City
sit
of
underneath
Toronto is
the
super
existing
rich.
baseboard.
Not
Pretty
at all,
alright.
bro.
Ты куда ты пошел?
How you doing? You're biking late sometimes. I woke up to poop one time, and you're on like 2 in the morning or something like that.
That is okay.
Yeah, it's a stupid way
Where's
to
my
do it.
cushion?
Like, not
Won't be on my knees,
use it
I'm
for
getting
next
me my
time,
cushion.
Or actually save some money. Like, it's the city, what budget?
Серия нахер надо? Белый или черный?
It's not like if they run out of money, they're gonna be like, you know what? We're not gonna plow the streets, just
Here
close
it is.
everything. They're just, right? Like, this is pointless budget. If they want to waste their budget, go clean the sidewalks. There's plenty of sidewalks that are, they've done a
Rick, how do you
horrible
feel
job
about
cleaning.
table saw height? You like the teeth clearing, the gullet clearing, the whole blade up? What's your preference?
This one included. You got 3 boxes, 3 out of 3. Now we call them powdered fill. So you don't know what's inside. Mystery. Mystery fluid.
15 миллиметров, чуть широковато.
Well, we can hope the rest holds on. Because I don't really know what I can do otherwise.
Isn't that great?
I might be able to do that.
Also, I don't know if I read it correctly, but I thought Tim Horton died.
Now that it's out here.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if somebody wants to go fact check the Wikipedia for Tim Horton. The guy used to be a hockey player. White powder on top, filled with sun on the inside. See how much better they made it? You're a fucking idiot. Like, look at your job well done over here.
Whatever, it's gonna get hot there.
He's also wearing headphones. You know you want to wear headphones operating heavy equipment. Like, what is the point? Explain this to me. What is the point of this?
Put that. No, that's pretty close to middle, so let's do that. And then we can mark this one.
Like, I don't get it.
We might have to try to smush this down, or
$25. Yeah, it's been free forever. There's no reason to
Something.
do it.
might have to
The roads are clean. Everything is
square
clean.
that up a bit. I don't have clients.
License plates and dipshit. Like,
I only work on properties that I own. But I don't live here. And people often think that this belonging to me means I live here. I bought this just to renovate and sell.
This guy's gonna stop. He didn't even look at me. Well done. Yeah, you wait like a fucking dumbass. Keep going. Waiting is okay. That's when we get to run you over. Sorry. The police can go all the way to the left lane.
Hey Britt, how goes?
Почему здесь 10 миллиметров?
Is it broken?
So the length is good. We just have an issue with this. Yep.
Come on, Colin.
Hello, welcome. My name is Moose. I'm a real estate investor. It's just the most pretentious way I had to come up with to describe a house flipper. So if I'm not working on houses because there's no margins in this town on houses anymore, I'm renovating townhouses and condos.
Иди нахер.
That's a weird user and it depends if it's a phone or totally not a robot. For sure not a robot. That's what you get for you guys. You got road.
О, как раз то, что надо.
Market station, it's like a truck, like old classic
Корзина.
stop. I've only been a couple times, but I
Удаляем.
didn't complain, because that's pretty good. Have like eggs and sausage and like toast and a shitty coffee. It was decently priced and
Not
tasted
quite.
decent, at least for me. This stuff is fairly new.
So even if I push this all the way down, well, we'll take this out for now and see where we get to, but I don't think this is going to do it.
What do you mean? Not everybody would get ads. It depends on your region. I'm in Canada,
And then below
I
where-
almost,
The idea
never
is-
get the full ad run.
Extra
when I
2
see people
hours.
running them
Should not have my finger there while I'm eating.
a few
Like
times.
that.
People run 3 minutes and I get like 30 seconds of ads. Yeah, because you're in Canada as well. We have no ads.
Yeah, that doesn't suck. Thank you for
Canada
that suggestion. Because now that's done, this sucks,
Yeah,
but I
see,
didn't
was
do
right.
that.
So he's like kind of drinking and driving. You looked it up, thanks.
It's another one of those not worth taking off and redoing
Sports
things.
car, drinking, probably
If it was a
not
Forever
good.
house, absolutely. Make it perfect. Describe all the things.
I don't know if you guys see
Actually
that brown
care.
building in the distance sticking out. That used to be the old Yellow Pages. It was a nice.
Oh,
detail.
I
You
am
never
that
get lost.
carpenter. Like, don't get
You
me
could see
wrong.
it glowing from a distance, so I knew where to go.
I could absolutely make that perfect. It would just take like an extra 2 hours.
Not a robot.
And I don't care. I really don't care.
Not a robot. It's just a very interesting username. Do you have Twitch Turbo? Do you know you could use your Twitch Turbo or Twitch Prime? I mean, you could use your Twitch Prime for a free sub in any stream. Let's see if I can do this. Hold on. Hey? Oh yeah, if you have a sub, you're not getting ads. But I mean, also thank you for the follow. I think we're done. We're pretty close to done. I was just gonna do this loop, get some donuts, and then head home. We're almost at the police station. Any car and drinking? Yeah, that is also true. But I'm sure a lot of people back then would argue. Because I think those jokes of like my drinking whiskey and stuff, I think they were like actually real. And people like sipped on alcohol while driving. I don't know if they were shit-faced, but they definitely...
And I'm actually trying, I will put my work up against anyone else out there. In terms of like, can I do a good job?
Yeah, that building right there, that brown one, it looks weird without it, but at the top it used to have the Yellow Page logo. I'm surprised.
Now the
that
question
this
is,
stuff hasn't been blown up. And,
do we want to cut here and then put the 2x4s directly on the plywood? Or do we want to come down
LRT or something here?
4
I
inches,
think they want to make an LRT
cut down
on
here, knowing that that will be then hidden and there's no mess here going to happen.
Yeah, the weird pointy
Так.
one. Yeah, hold on.
I think we come
Мы
down
уже знаем,
4
что он сделает.
inches, because then
Он
it's
берет
going
вот
on
эту
top
херню.
of good stuff, and
А
you
для
will
чего?
not see this cut.
Don't want to drop the
And the
donut.
4 inches, I get that from, because if we make pull
Come on.
this like, and then wrap an MDF, and then below we're going to do tile. And I think
That one right there.
Да ладно, нормальные доски. Почему вот у нас исчезли нормальные доски? Почему у нас вот доски, блядь, какое-то говно продают в этом? А если норм... Нет, там нормальные, по-моему, тоже есть, но они, по-моему, стоят что-то до хера. Вот он тоже их где-то купил. Где он их? В Икее купил?
downstairs neighbor. Down and he's like, excuse me, like, oh, no, I just like play the accents. So I called the,
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till mom gets home. Maybe we can get some cops to come out and just like open the box.
where my
and,
laser
like,
go.
wait till that.
Where did my laser go?
И это, это типа он временно размещает?
Yes, I'm sorry. No offense, but like it stinks.
А, не, я вспомнил. Он сейчас будет доску на доску крепить. Там же, блять, вот он прям это херачит прям в голую древесину.
Kind of like when I hit puberty or around that time, I just got annoyed with like every
There,
smell.
that's not going anywhere.
Perfume, cologne, like detergent, anything that has a strong smell.
Не сверля.
You can ask my mom, I keep yelling at her.
28.
She doesn't like spray a lot, but like she like sprays the cleaner or like whatever, and I'm like, what the smell?
Вот он эту нормальную деревяшку, он ее спрячет потом.
So,
I don't think it.
yeah, I don't know what it is. I even get annoyed like when I use it. If and when I use deodorant.
I don't mind if it's a bit short. Would anyone like a piece of
I
paper?
used to wear cologne when I was like a little kid to be cool. And then I think it's as soon as I hit like puberty or something like around that time, I just like started to hate
Because
the
we're
smell
gonna
of
put
everything.
another overlap this way and then come in this way.
Surprisingly, I think I'd rather have the smell of weed instead of cigarettes. Oh, look at that little tiny dog. You guys see?
That looks
Oh, he's
pretty
turning.
even.
You guys see the tiny dog? Probably not. They're like holding on to him. Yeah, put on the Axe body spray. Oh look, there's one crazy guy at the... I'm gonna bike. Would have been too short unless I just bike a little bit up the street. Let's see who's online.
What? $46.25. Ooh, that is not the same thickness.
Ха-ха.
Seriously? Three and 3/8. That is not the same thickness.
Oh my god, how bad is the signal? Oh, there's 40 people in here.
Это прикольно.
Yeah, I could have seen for longer. Alright, enjoy the rest of the day.
We're gonna move this to the top. I want the top to be
Catch you guys on the next one. Is he gonna stop?
more even.
Yay. Stop. Have to give him a prize. Yeah, I'm on with it. Alright guys.
And then we'll put
Say goodbye.
pieces at either end. Because we got scraps and we can line things up easier that way. Now, no lasering required.
I really loved. I really loved the kind of these movies.
And
They're
we can
so
screw
good.
this in.
Whoa, Dimitri, thank you for the raid. Hello, guys. Thank you for the raid, Dimitri. I'm in the Highline right now with my monkey mom. W Raiders. Hope you had a good stream.
Чё? Monkey mom.
You know, take care of yourself. Do whatever you have to do. I hope everything went well for your stream. Raiders, if you want to tell me what Dimitri got up to on stream, let me know. But welcome. I'm in New York. I don't really have big plans for the stream. I'm just
Нормально у него этот Кронштейн.
over to the other right now. But thank you for joining. I also came to New York City, and yeah, I just kind of do this. So, hairs on conflict. Thank you so much. I was kind of feeling insecure with my hair today, but not feeling bad.
I was thinking of like trying to find some plywood or something to wrap this and make it look similar to the bottom of those. But that is not what the cost.
Так, USB рабочий. Клавиатура не очень. А почему ты ее не выключил, кстати?
Sorry, I really can't.
That is, oh, that's basically perfect. I couldn't have gotten that if I scribed it. One more for overkill.
Sometimes we have to reset stuff. My bad
Here we go.
if things were weird.
Now we get the
Are we better?
things off.
Let me know. Okay, cool. Donuts? Do you guys not like donuts are like scientifically one of those things that like calorically your body's designed to be craved, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just carbs and grease and stuff like that. Just food. You like need some donuts, you know? I feel like donuts are a great recovery food. Right? Like you want high carb recovery.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, there are rules. angles here,
This thing always looks like
so I'm not entirely sure what you're missing. I've heard in Australia they don't let you do your own electrical like at all. In Canada you can for the most part if you're a homeowner.
Чувак.
Сейчас, секундочку.
По данным американской разведки, число оказалось близко.
But if you want to be like an electrician that people can hire out, it's like at least 4 years of school. Alright, we'll come back with the angle grinder for that.
Нормально на вебку поставила.
And for that, there we go. That's okay.
So, yeah, that's right.
Should be alright.
One thing that we like
Alright, now we do need the angle grinder.
audio is we have these repeating sounds. Part of what we're concerned about is the sort of
Sorry,
natural
GoPro.
presentation of sounds.
You alright?
Sometimes not only will we have a variety of variations,
Yeah, we're good.
not that much. And we will also pair that with sequential modulation for varying.
А он с нее транслирует и еще и одновременно
So when it comes to electrical
она у
in
него
Canada,
таймлапс пишет.
if I pull a permit, I can do anything downstream of the panel. And I can work in the panel. I can make sub-panels. There's a fair amount I can do as a homeowner. I cannot replace my own main panel.
Так, мне дали
I have to
батарейку
have an
купить.
electrician do that. And then anything upstream of the panel becomes utility company stuff.
So when we select a random index and then play it, but it will also randomize a flip value.
Alright, so last thing for the day is we get this stuff off the bottom here.
And so, let's say we could have a
Can someone put on my to-do list to bring the angle grinder car stuff, please? I don't know what that means. Alright. Let's get you out of the way because you're very in the way. Get this out of the way. and have
Пойдем
some
зарядим.
working conditions. You might not be able
Вот это надо убрать, кстати. Так, сколько времени? 22. Давай, выключаем сабвуфер.
So if anyone wants to help me pick tile,
Это убираем.
you check out Home Depot or Rona, Canada. And it would be tile for under here, down to about here, and along the side.
Блин, вот ему, конечно, надо в этих работать.
This is so much easier than doing this cut first.
Так, сейчас я переключусь на вот эту колоночку.
And I know someone said something.
And I see there's frequency multiplier and semitone conversion node. And so I'm going to plug in my value and have the semitones coming out
Oh, that's
here
fun.
to the pitch shift. Maybe I'll pull this.
Maybe I should be a firefighter. What do you guys think?
Nice little.
I think I'm too short. Firefighters tend to be fairly large.
Especially do that math on the fly, right? Especially when you're doing unit conversion, which is like such a pain in the butt. But there's
Okay,
another
I
thing
thought
that
I
comes
felt
up a
heat
lot.
there. It might
And
have
this
just
is
been
also,
this.
Like, this is also part of what this conversion node is doing.
Колонка, кстати, боевая, с мопеда падала.
Then the wave player will actually render the sound faster or slower, affecting the changing pitch. But it's important to understand that this pitch shift is not describing a time stretch. That's a different kind of process. And that would be where you're maybe changing the length or you're changing the perceived pitch of the sound without changing the other dimensions. So if you think of like the duration and the perceived pitch of the sound, the faster you play it, the higher the pitch, but also the slower the sound, right? Because you're playing to the sound pitch. Likewise, when you play it slower, it's longer, but the perceived pitch is lower. So that's basically what we're doing with pitch shift, is we're just speeding it up or we're slowing it down, which means that the sound is going to be shorter or longer respectively. But there's another kind of process that sometimes is pitch stretch or time stretch, or pitch and time stretch because they're related. And that would be where you're sort of managing the pitch, you're trying to make the sound stay the same length, or vice versa, changing the length of it without changing the pitch. And that is a little bit a different.
So
kind
the
of
thing
process.
about
So this is very
firefighting
simple, and what's important to understand is when I'm describing those two things, this is very cheap. It's very like the volume scale and the
firefighters
pitch
have
shift is
so
like
far
a
been
very
the only of the first
economic
responders
way of creating
to not
variation.
barefaced
While
lie to me
sort
about
of
stuff.
time stretch tends to be a little bit more expensive. Okay, so here I've got
Cops are trained to
50
lie.
to
Paramedics will
200%
lie.
speed, and I'll play it. And you kind of hear the fast ones.
So
But
far,
the thing is that
firefighters
because
have
the
not.
content is
I don't know if it's because they haven't wanted to or needed to,
because it's
They
rock.
have not lied to me.
There's not a lot of tonality to it, and so we don't actually notice the pitch as much as we sort of notice maybe the sharpness.
So yeah, tile go all the way down, one big tile, cover this whole thing.
Oh. So again? Yeah,
And then I don't have to deal with any of this return sideways nonsense.
Клава рипнулась, что ли? Что за хрень?
Yeah, sorry.
It's not quite perfectly in
more
line.
reasonable. No, you're right. Yeah, that's good.
So we're gonna have a bit of a gap there. This might get thin-setted. I don't know.
Yeah, and something
Yeah,
that
paramedics
I
avoid.
think, you know, we're not going to be going into this presentation, but volume management is a huge part of the presentation. And so, and then interactive learning is a very challenging problem. And so, yeah, what I would suggest is when you're sort of shooting those volume ranges, to think about balancing, sets of sounds together before thinking about the overall presentation of those sounds.
Там шарупочки были. Нужно было выкрутить, и они бы сами отвалились. А он отломал, да?
We won't worry about it.
And a lot of games will like prioritize and like artificially increase or decrease the volume of things.
Yes, yeah. Yes, and that's where you have post-processing effect stage, where
And then on this side,
we
it's
call it
like
dynamic
the top
compression,
is more
which will sort of
proud
compress the
than the
amplitude
bottom.
range,
Чуть попробовать шуруп надеть, нет?
one way or another.
И он.
And there are a lot of really great
Любитель все нахер ломать.
settings that some games will do, where you'll have like a high dynamic range environment for like people with
Or maybe people just like to lie.
or you're like low dynamic range for folks who are like on a TV set in their apartment at midnight, like sort of trying not to wake up their neighbors. Like, so there's some cool things people will do to provide, because this is very interesting about
That
mixing.
is
I don't want to get
re-exposed.
into that, but like the mixing is also heard
If I can
in the
find a
context of
decent
the
looking
user's
tile.
listening environment, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Like,
Something we have
okay.
So
Still just plain white on top.
it is a challenge. Yeah, exactly.
Design for like specific studio monitors or whatever, it sounds beautiful.
Right.
Put it on your phone, what happens.
A little bit of cleanup.
Yeah, it's like the same thing for artists and graphics designers. Right? They're like they've got like color calibrated monitors, and they have they've like worked really hard on
And
the
this
contrast
is
range. Because contrast is basically the same thing as dynamic range for audio. So yeah, and then someone's on
Especially
like,
with a little bit of help to get that
television where like the tint's like slightly off and everything's kind of green.
spoiled.
There's a reason why game controls and HDR controls and stuff like that aren't full price when you start a game, because you can only do so much on the back end. You have to consider what the hardware they have.
I've also thought a lot about, like there
Kick,
are
hello.
games like especially horror games that have the sort
I
of
was about to go over it, 'cause every time
calibration
someone
where
kicked
you
is-
go,
Someone from Kick has spoken today. It's been a lot.
can you see the
Trolling.
figure in the dark, and then you're like, yes. I'll go
How
like-
do you deal with secret drinker? I do not know.
I would love to see that for audio, where it's like people are like, the quietest sound, the loudest sound you want to hear.
I imagine that will vary depending on the drinker.
Right? Anyway, diverting here. Let's do the same
bunch
thing.
of other things.
We wanna
I've
have
never
this-
dealt with anything like that, so I have no idea.
Add a min, we call it pitch min. Scale. We have a unit, let's let people know what they are.
Well, I believe it. But I have been inundated with kickbots today, so that's all.
Mac.
Nice to meet you. Hello, welcome. My name is
And,
I'm a real estate investor. This is the most pretentious way I could come up with to describe a house flipper. Except there's no margins on houses in Canada right now. So I'm flipping a townhouse that I got off market for super cheap.
This is the graph that you use for more than half of your sounds in the project, most of it.
This is such a common design. And this is where I want to talk about like the difference between meta sound and meta sound present. What we're looking at present. So what we did
он заканчивает, это было 7 дней назад.
Thinking is, okay, we have, you know, like, if we were to examine a project, like I think we did analysis of Robo Recall a long time ago. We did analysis of Robo Recall. It's a great VR game. If you like arcade shooters. And we're like, hey, there's actually just like 6 different design sound lines here, but there's like hundreds of sounds. But the actual design of the sound, the way that they behave, the way that they're implemented is the
Так,
same
вот это я видел.
over and over and over. And so
Как он полочку это собирал.
And then reuse them over and over. That's where I bring the analogy of like materials instances. You use over and over again in different contexts. And the only thing that changes is the context. So we've got our sound source, and let's here's my sound source, and we'll call it something like MS to range.
Как мы можем подстраховку, кстати, сделать?
Effectively, it's like a meta sound source that has embedded in it the meta sound that we just created. This meta sound node is actually our meta sound source, and we will use that meta sound source in other meta sounds. So you can embed meta sound inside meta sound.
So I thought, hey,
That's where the meta part comes from. That's yeah, don't call it meta sound. That's scam.
clean, flat edge terrain made
No one
it
knows
too
at all.
wrong.
So here we have, if we look at the inputs, we have we can see all the values that we have in our parent,
Почему он решил розовый использовать, чтобы было виднее?
But we can also override, we can override black. So we look at these, we can see the default values. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to selectively override the
Плитка поломая, о чем бы сейчас? Или он тут сверху просто все этим закроет?
What that allows me to do, we can audition it, just like the source, the original source. That's cool. Forget about that. Future. Here's the source. We can also double click on it, which is cool.
А, ну он точно, да, он будет этот класть.
I can actually clear this out, trash this, the original one, save it, and here I will still have that wave content because I had this.
Без подложки, что ли?
And so now what I can do is I can go to my
ламинат. Все, паркет уже не модно. Все херачат ламинат, который, блядь, вздувается. Что с ним вот особенно когда он вздувается, что с ним делать потом? Так, ну это надо включить этот. Ну-ка, не сюда. Где там Unreal? Что за IRL? Странный контент в пустой хате.
Different kinds of ways to accelerate our workflow and sort of enhance the utilities available to designers to help mitigate like at scale problems. And so that's where I think Eric will maybe take over and talk about editor utilities and editor utilities with
MSS Meta Sound Source Random Basic. Я только читать начал.
So, as Dan mentioned, like when you have edit sound presets that are built from graphs that have kind of their own custom interface for inputs, we have a lot of these, right? So we want to make tools that are make it
Bass
easy to
drum.
manage them at
Чё?
scale. And if you have the
Там можно типа это машину создать, DJI Audio Tools Content.
I've already installed it and restarted, so I don't have to go through all that. But once you have that, inside of your meta sound, there's a couple tools up here at the top on the toolbar. These are from the Fab plugin. And so one is a metadata editor. And so this will let me see that Dan did not put any documentation on any of his. Dan made this kick drum that we're going to be playing with today.
Which is serendipity when it's talking about the chat that you can't.
Yeah, totally. So if you're trying to make a project and you got a lot of sounds and you want to document these so people can have tooltips on each of these knobs, and tooltips are disabled. So I would just put a display name here like bass drum. You can put a description. You can mark it deprecated.
Покажите что-нибудь.
Has to do with like the meta sound metadata is editable in this tool. Just about everything. There's some things that aren't quite in here yet, but the same goes for all the inputs and the outputs. So I can select an input, give it a display name. Like the LPG is a low pass gate. Maybe we want to actually call it that.
Ну это что за херня? Он просто вот взял вот ее этим.
Maybe give it a description. And also mark it as advanced, which will hide the pin.
Канцелярским ножом раз, это будет пол. Офигеть,
And you can also change the sort order. You can do it
На
manually
кухне,
here,
где
or
может вода
this is actually
потечь.
the real reason I made this tool was so that I could have an edit sort order tool. And so anyone who's familiar with trying to customize the ordering of pins on a Metasound knows that it can be a pretty big pain to try and manage all of your sort order numbers manually. So this tool, once you're done, let's say we want the on play at the top, maybe we'll put all of our tone at the top, and then pitch, and you get the idea. And then you can click reorder. A little bit funky because of my scaling right at the moment. So I reordered it and it applied all of the sort orders here. And now if I were to place this bass drum on another node, the pins would be in order. You do have to, it won't refresh unless you close and reopen the Metasound if you're like editing here and you already have a node on your graph. Did I just do all of that without locking the tab?
Yeah, but
I realized that. I just realized, yeah. Okay. Well, okay, let's redo this. So I've got this tool that I opened from the top menu. As I mentioned, we've got a section here that's all the document metadata that you can modify over here. You saw that I did build this out, and you probably saw that update while I was doing it. It'll update in real time. And then I did the sort order editing with this little button up here, which lets me drag and drop things, reload it down. Click here to commit the changes, and now all of the sort orders have been applied to these inputs. So it's very useful for when you're trying to make your nodes look pretty, give them nice tooltips and descriptions. And you'll see like the icon shows up here, you can hover it and read the description. It'll show you if something's an advanced pin or if it belongs to an interface with tooltips again. I'm trying to show them. And display names will also show up. There's like a dimmer color in the list here. So it's really easy just to kind of get an overall look at your nodes documentation. All right. Next one is the input migrator. And so this is a utility that you would use if you have like an old preset graph that you're trying to move away from because you have a new graph, but you want to keep the old ones. You don't want to like change everything. This is a useful tool to have in that case, where you can specify the current Metasound that you have all of these input values, and I can show what the current values are if I hit this button at the top. And then let's say I have a new Metasound, which I only have this one. What I can do is I can link these inputs to the inputs on my destination by selecting them, and then I can click link selected. So we can see we've got links. If you hover it, it will show the tooltip of the corresponding linked input, and if I hover it and select it, it will it'll show the link. So then I have two options here. I can overwrite the destination inputs, which just copies the value from the source Metasound into the destination. And so if I do that, you can see I've got 0.5 on this one. Maybe it's kind of hard to read, but as soon as I link these inputs, let me unlink it and relink it. If I overwrite the destination inputs, now you can see that value just updated. Or what you might want to do is create a preset of this destination Metasound, in this case, my Metasound, and that's going to create a new asset at the location where the destination lives. So now I've got a new Metasound preset, and my volume default value has been copied over from the old Metasound. So that's a very useful tool. I guess the other thing here is you can save your links. So let's say that you've done all the manual linking of inputs from one side to the other. You can save the links, and that's going to create asset user data that's editor only, and it's stored on the destination Metasound. So then if I had a preset, which I'm going to make real quick, of this bass drum, and if I put that in here, it's going to already have that linked up. So let's clear it out so you can see it automatically links because I saved the data earlier to the parent. Yeah, so those are just a couple examples of the editor utilities. These are all blueprints, and they're included in the Tech Audio Tools content plugin. So you can actually just open it up and see how this tool was put together. There's a bunch of like smaller widgets that are composed together to make the larger one. And we'll take a deeper look at some of the blueprints later, but I do want to draw attention to the top left corner here, where I have a View Models tab. And I was able to get this by enabling the UMG View Model plugin, which I believe was shipped in UE 5.4. So it's relatively new, and we added Metasound View Models in 5.6, and then currently we're showing stuff that's in 5.7. So in the window menu, you have a View Models. What is the View Model? Sure, yeah, that's a good question. So a view model is essentially, I like to think of it as kind of like a data interface for a widget almost. It's not quite an interface, but what we can do with the Metasound view models is expose the inputs and the outputs to a UMG widget. And so we can bind UMG widgets to control the default values here, just as I've been controlling the metadata. That's all been done through UMG view models with the Metasound view models and Tech Audio Tools. Let me show you an example here of what a view model gives you. And you can't see this, can you, if I open this menu? No. It's a shame. Okay, so the view model button here will show you all of the view models that are available in Tech Audio Tools. There's a lot of them, and we'll go over the important ones. The first one being this Metasound editor view model. As the name suggests, it's an editor-only view model that has access to data that's editor-only, such as the descriptions and the display names. Those aren't data fields that are inside of a runtime Metasound, but there is a runtime Metasound view model that you could use if you, for whatever reason, wanted to have tooling inside of your like a test build or something. Those are available. And so, kind of back to what a view model is, you can see I've got all of these different pieces of data, and there's these arrows that indicate kind of what bindings are allowed to use with each piece of data. And so, for instance, if I don't want to show the bindings for this. It's a little overwhelming, but here we go. This is what this is what the view bindings tab looks like once you in this very complex tool, right? So we've got a lot of them, and we'll be going through like a simplified setup of like how to set up a binding for when we're setting up a preset widget. But for now, I just wanted to kind of explain what a view model is doing. You're getting data from a Metasound using the view model, and you're binding it to widgets using these view bindings.
I think one thing that is there's a couple I feel like there are a couple of takeaways that can't be understated, which is part of the Tech Audio Tools content plugin that you can download now for free on that.
У него кнопочка просто сверху.
That are actually useful,
Я не увидел.
with your team or on your project that are just ready to go, like the input migrator or the metadata editor.
Mm-hmm.
And also great demonstrations of a solid tool, like how to build a solid tool with all the stuff that you need, so you can do it all in blueprints and UMG. That's pretty amazing, I think. And so I feel like that, yes, this is a lot of work, but if you were gonna embark on a 5-year dev cycle, this is not a lot of work for a tool that's going to empower your team for years. So this looks like a lot, and you can use it as it is and take advantage of all this work that Eric's put in. But also, you could look at it as a model for how you could build your own cool tools to accelerate your team's workflow.
Yeah, so what you gain by doing all of this binding work is a reduction in the amount of blueprints that you have to, the right blueprint nodes. I guess maybe another way to put it is that the MetaSound view models allow you to modify the inside of a MetaSound using UMG widgets, and we'll dive into the code and kind of how that's how exactly that's set up and how much work it's actually doing for you, so you don't have to go and do all of that work yourself. Because there's a lot of plumbing work that's been done to make it drag and drop basically, so you don't have to go in and bind to delegates from the editor to receive when somebody's changed the value, and vice versa. So I guess next on the agenda we wanted to talk about preset widgets, and Dan has a pretty epic one.
Yeah, so
25,
when Eric
12,
was talking about
29.
tools, one of the things that I thought was an interesting exploration is a tool that, or a metasound that
Try alive.
demonstrate a whole bunch of things. And like one of the things was just like, hey, let's have a more substantial example of a preset widget design. So the parent graph that this preset widget sort of manages is a little bit more extensive than our random sound selection. And also wanted to play around with the idea that because the interface, the widgets are UMG, there's an intermediary blueprint layer. And so I thought it would be kind of interesting to think about the authoring environment and how that could be enhanced with blueprint functions, right? Like, so instead of just manipulating a single parameter, I could maybe manipulate many parameters at once with one touch. And so that was part of it. Part of it was just I think it's a really fun design to support parameter randomization in a synthesizer. I like synthesizers, and I think randomizing parameters is like an underutilized potential feature for synthesizers. And then the other thing that I thought would be kind of fun is extending our idea of metasounds.
Что-то я его совсем доконал. Он был только с одной стороны. Что-то вообще потек.
Your synthesizer or some DSP in your DAW that generates wave content, recorded content. So there's a lot kind of going on here. So buckle up.
О, попробуй сейчас купить, да?
The preset generator. If you go to the before we get into that, if you go into the Tech Audio Tools content plugin, you'll see a tools directory, and inside that you'll see a sound generator subdirectory.
Это топы, да? Но не топ, это другое.
SFX generator metasound, and if we just open that up, you can kind of see the original metasound. It's a single oscillator synthesizer or single tone generator synthesizer, but it has the power to switch between different oscillator types, and it has a spectral effects section for manipulating the timbre of the instrument, and then also has a temporal effects section for and a dynamics effects section. So the temporal effects are delay and reverb and stuff like that sort of. So basically, it's like a synthesizer with a bunch of effects and a bunch of modulation potential, pitch modulation, amplitude modulation, with LFOs, and if this is all going on,
Нету ничего, да?
I understand. Like
I followed almost everything until you said LFO. That was the one that I followed.
LFO is like a low frequency oscillator, and basically infrasonic or subsonic if you can't hear it. It's so slow, but those kinds of those are very useful for creating movement and shaping parameters over time.
Ой, зачем ты там Windows 11 стоит?
So there's kind of a lot going on here. I would say from a I have a lot of experience with synthesizers, and so designing this was not too much trouble for me. It was actually a lot of fun. But this can be incredibly intimidating for someone, especially if they're new to synthesis or that maybe have a loose grasp or no grasp on these varying, these different elements and sections. And so, and this is another thing that happens. Sometimes we call this like a larger size meta sound. Sometimes we like colloquially call it a mega sound. But there's a lot going on here, and sometimes what people will do, like designers, happens a lot, is they'll sort of duplicate the input and then sort of organize it in some way to help them sort of tune parameters. And so this is all very common. If you've already worked on a project and you have some larger meta sounds,
13 дюймов тоже много.
You see comments trying to tell you what's going on, and input sort of gathered in one spot. So yeah, this to me is sort of the sort of use case that I wanted to tackle. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's so interesting to see this kind of thing broken out to a node structure. Where I'm used to these tools being, pretty opaque. Where you don't have a lot of
like a keyboard.
Just knobs and dials.
Yeah.
Like that. To see this like broken up this way, it's actually really fascinating.
Well, this is what I talk about, the power of meta sounds, because it's just exposing this DSP to designers. And if you know what you're doing, you can do some really powerful stuff. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can always learn.
А КБ не держит Windows 7.
But what I'll do is I'll actually create a new preset. So let's do our thing. You right click on the template or parent object, and then we go to the Asset Action Create Preset, and let's put it somewhere else. Let's put it in. We'll put it over here. So I'm not going to name it anything fancy, but I will save it, and will it stop? So here, look at this. Look at this. Like this is unwieldy, right? It's like not fair. And I've tried to organize the inputs. I've got this namespace thing going on, so you kind of see how there's like categories and groupings and stuff like that, right? I've tried to do this to.
Can you mention how you did that?
Yeah. So the way that you do that is actually just using dots. So if I go to the original one, let's say we go to this attack, which is this parameter. You can kind of see it highlight when I grab it. You can also search for the node on the graph. But yeah, so I have this attack parameter. This is a parameter that's used for the envelope. The envelope is part of the amplifier management or dynamics management, and the attack is the beginning of the. So you can kind of think of it as like a fade in. Right? How does the sound fade in? And so this attack, you can kind of see here, if you squint and get really close to your monitor, you can see
Финпады и продаются.
I typed amp.envelope.attack, and what that's done is it's organized it in these sort of groupings here in the input section. Now this is why when you change the sort order, it doesn't show here, because the way that the inputs are organized in the source graph is by this naming space scheme. And Discord notification. I've got to turn off. I don't know why. There's too many parameters. Discord, you have too many parameters. So shut off. Right, where was I? That's how you get the name organization. That's really useful. And this, we're gonna say.
No, that's a pro tip.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I forget to do it all the time, but yeah, that's a really great way to organize your inputs when you're just looking at a big old list. And if we look at our preset, it's still organized that way, which is great. Like that is helpful to a certain degree. But there, you know, there the preset widgets potentially open up a lot of opportunities for us, and you'll see that because I've implemented the preset widget on this meta sound type, you can see now there's a tab. Here's that widget tab, and if I click over there, I wanted to say select and click at the same time, and I said click. If I click over there, then you can see the beautiful. This is like all of my UMG skills at work here. And I even added a scroll bar because there's so many parameters. But this may be more like
Что так дорого?
people are familiar with when they think about synthesizers.
Looks great.
And VSTs. Yeah. And so I boldly called it the sound effects generator. And what I did is I kind of organized the parameters in a very similar way to how I did the namespaces. I organized them by groups and subgroups and parameters within subgroups. And so what's nice about this organization is
То есть маленьких не купишь, да? Только вот так, на озоне. Непонятно чего.
That you've got all the relevant parameters right next to in proximity where you're working. So that's like a good reason why. And so that's what I've done here. And if I play this, I've got the default sound, which is just like a little square wave. One of the things that I wanted to do as part of taking advantage of UMG and blueprints and the larger sort of Unreal Audio feature set are these analyzer windows. So, for example, you can see this little oscilloscope, and so when I play, you can see each of these oscilloscopes sort of lighting up and showing a waveform, and these all are representing parts of the signal flow, analysis of the signal flow in that area of the Metasound graph, the original Metasound graph. And so I thought it would be a really interesting way to provide feedback to the designer to sort of see, hey, how is my waveform changing across these processes? So for example, let's say I wanted to make it take longer. And remember I talked about that attack parameter, so let's maybe increase the attack. This is going to increase the time that it takes to go from 0 to 100% volume. And now, got like a really long sound, and it's got a long attack and what we call a long release, which is the time it takes to go from 100% to, or the sustain level to 0. So yeah, there are different ways to sort of look at what's going on with the graph, and then I could add, like, let's say I wanted a shorter sound with no attack and a very short release, and then we have a but I could do things like let's add some reverb to it, you know, or I could add a delay, which is sort of like an echo effect. Maybe like that. Yeah, the timing of that is based off of the duration. So.
Блин, такая странная херня, чуть тронул и все. Все изменилось.
Okay, so you kind of get the idea. And each of these, and so
Частоту бы я понизил.
Doing this was lowering the intimidation factor. In other words, something that if anyone wants to, get into synthesis, and all those knobs, part of what synthesis sort of philosophy of it is like an invitation to explore. And so you look at this set of knobs, and if you're trying to, tune for a specific sound and you don't know much about synthesis, it can be pretty challenging, right? Like I could sit here and lower the sound and change the waveform to a triangle, and add all these sort of features. But you can also just play around and just see what happens when you change a knob or you change a parameter or turn something up or down. And I think giving that feedback so you can see where the sound is changing along the signal path, or feedback to what the thing that you're changing is doing, helps sort of realize what's going on. So that was also part of the fun of it. And then to sort of prove how arbitrary parameters are, I have a random function I've added to every knob. So and every parameter group and every parameter supergroup and the whole thing. You can just randomize all the parameters if you want. And I also have a locking feature, so you can basically the randomization goes from big to small. And so if you want to sort of lock down at, like if you want to stop the randomization at some level, you can sort of lock at that level and it will stop trying to randomize stuff.
Че, маг поставил?
Inside there, from outside. And so, for example, I could just randomize this oscillator section, which is the tone generator part. And it's just changing what tone we're. Oh, did I do a big one? I did a big one.
Yeah, you're doing the whole thing.
I did the whole thing. Now we're gonna get all kinds of stuff. And I sort of jokingly call this like the sci-fi generator, because you can come up with some really crazy stuff. Every once in a while you get one that's like, that's a bummer, like that's a dud. But it's okay. You just keep going and play around. Yeah, exactly.
On
and
the,
I think
on the flip side, though, there's a couple there that's like, I don't know, that sounds kind of cool on a box.
yeah, right? Exactly. And so, this is a way where, like, this sort of changing the game in terms of the offering experience. I could sit here and come up with a whole bunch of different stuff, and I could, like, I was like, oh, maybe that sounds really cool, right? And I'm like, well, maybe I want to use that in my project. All I have to do is save it, right? And just save it. It's the preset. Here it is. Oh, where did I put it? Here it is. Is this it?
No, it's in your dev folder.
Oh, that's right. Put them in there. Right, here it is. It's just a crazy sound that I could play anytime I want in my project, right?
I heard that in arcade one time.
So yeah, and I've got some examples here. Some are like, for example, this kick drum was a curated one. I just went through as like a synthesis, and I just set up the kick drum.
So this is a kick drum purely synthesized.
Purely synthesized, yeah. This is, this you could put in like another meta sound and then have a rage or something like that. Then I have like here, yeah.
Somebody just asked if there's anything made in.
That's right. So I also made some other ones based off of random. Like sometimes what you can do is you have your random, everything. And that's very sci-fi. Maybe I'm like, that delay is like too much, right? So what I could do is I could, maybe rein in the feedback and the time, and I could lock this. So now when I play it, tune a little bit more. Maybe that's too much, So, and then maybe I'm like, that's too long of a sound. So now you can start going in, you come up with, you like, this is cool, I like parts of this, but I want to change some other parts of it. And you can go through there and sort of tune the sound. And again, you don't really have to know anything about synthesis, but you just have to know when you turn a knob, it does the thing that you expected it to do, right?
And if folks wanted to, they could also do like a sample-based sort of creation, kickback sandbox.
Yeah. I think yeah, exactly. So what So
А где у нас SSD-шник?
Like this this widget is a representation of this graph, right? So in other words, you build your topology, and that is the sort of behavior or DSP design of your graph. The elements that go into it that are part of the render could be synthesized sound, or could be recordings that you bring in, right? Or some hybrid like wavetables. And so you know there's a lot that you can do there in terms of where the source material comes from and how you affect it, how you process it. And then what's important is that you can then represent that through some sort of data input, and then represent the data in like a more meaningful way. So one last thing that I thought would be fun to add is I was like, what if we added also the ability to say, I like this sound, but I want to print it as a wave asset that I can reuse outside of Unreal or inside Unreal in my project, or just like bake it so that you have that and you just play it like a random sound. So if you could play the video that I prepped.
The trailer, is that?
No, the video, I forget what I called it, yeah. Wave Rider, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I didn't do a voiceover, but basically what's happening there is I added a feature wherein if you arm this record widget, then when you play it, it will actually write the playback into a file, and the file will be saved in your saved directory under audio captures, and it'll be named whatever you put here. So I added a little text field, you know, my favorite sound or whatever. And so yeah, I wanted to show that because we were sharing the screen, I can't like show the Explorer, Windows Explorer, or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of show like yet another cool thing I wanted to explore, and I think that that has a lot of fun work because I really enjoy working in Metasounds just in general. I think it's a really creative space to work in, and sometimes you're not making something for an Unreal project. Sometimes you're just making it because you want to make it, right? And so I think there's value in that. And I'll go into in depth here how I made it, but yeah, yeah, this is sort of the philosophy behind this is manyfold. So.
Really quick, before we move on, we had a question here. Is this, so we've shown that we can pick these out as export as print files. Benefit of that is you can use outside of Unreal. So that what would be the use case within Unreal? Like is this something that's performance enough that it can be run real time without too much overhead?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Where a lot of times you want to kind of get some of these out. I assume it's based off the complexity of the sound and how things can change.
Yeah, exactly. So their computers come in all shapes and sizes. And without going into the price of RAM or graphics,
Не бутабится.
that there are some computers are not as mighty as other computers, and some devices are not as powerful. And so the cost is always relative, right? The cost is always relative. if we were to look at, we try to offer some performance data. So, for example, I play this. You can kind of see here. There's like a CPU estimation, and that's sort of it's a little arbitrary. Your computer is different from the computer you're deploying on. But this is, I would say, this is not a trivial meta sound design. Like where was my random sound? This one is a pretty trivial meta sound design. I would expect to be able to have a lot of these parts. I would not expect to have a lot of these parts.
I think something that's important to say, like, I mean, this game's a relatively complicated vision graph, but it also doesn't look like crazy insurmountable.
It's not too bad. It's the crazier ones. Yeah.
There's a lot of math happening behind the scenes, though, that these nodes are represented and have to be calculated, every play, right?
So audio, ESP, and visual, aural visual graphic sonics. Okay. As long as the language pairing here is correct. There's a lot of, shared. One thing to think about when comparing graphics to sonics is you can think of graphics as like slow and wide processing. So the frame rate, the update periodicity is pretty low. It's like 30 hertz, 60 hertz, 120 hertz. That's like nothing. But there's a lot. It's very wide. There's a lot that's happening every one of those frames. Audio is the inverse. Audio has a narrow stream processing, but it's extremely our frame rate is 48,000 times a second. So that's sort of, if you think about it, like, and graphics, processors are sort of tuned to that slow and wide processing method. So we're oftentimes working off of the CPU with everyone else. And so when you think about your resources, your machine resources, that's something you want to consider, and how audio processing fits in the wider puzzle. I have definitely worked on projects, like I worked on a mobile project when I was your age. I worked on a mobile project when you couldn't have their app be more than 30 megs because no one would download it. And the G that we were on was 3, right, instead of whatever we're on now. And so in that case, I remember, I worked on a game that was like physics simulation heavy, and so I had to go real light on processing and find ways to do that. So it's all about your context of the project. If you're working on some computers are massive.